July 2021, Colour Palette 1, Women in STEM. During the month of July, I run my own art challenge, which is based around using limited colour palettes. I started this challenge back in 2018 because I wanted to get better at using colours. The premise of the art challenge is to create an image using the 5 colours in the colour palette plus black and white if needed. Mixing the colours by using transparencies and using layer styles is also allowed. To make it easier for myself, I also picked a specific theme for each colour palette, just so I had an idea of what I wanted to paint. For this first colour palette, the topic was of course Women in STEM. Grace Hopper was a computer scientist and a Rear Admiral of the US Navy. She was a pioneer of computer programming and was the first to create a theory of machine-independent programming languages, which led to the creation of COBOL. On top of all that, she also coined the term debug as she removed a moth that got stuck in a relay while working on the Mark II computer at Harvard University. While this colour palette might not be natural for portraits, I found that it would work regardless. I approached each of the portraits as though I was painting them in grayscale, but obviously using the purple colours instead of greys. The coral worked really well as a pop of colour, but the beige on the other hand didn't quite fit in. Therefore, I only ended up using 4 of the 5 colours in the colour palette. Kathrine Johnson was a mathematician and one of the first African American women to work for NASA. Her calculations were essential for the early space shuttle program. She calculated trajectories, launch windows, and the emergency return path for Project Mercury, the first American human spaceflight project. Her work also included the calculation of the rendezvous path for the Apollo lunar module and the command module on the flights to the moon. She also pioneered the use of computers to perform calculation tasks. While I'm only showing one reference image for each of the portraits, please know that I was looking at several photos while painting. If you have any questions about my process, please let me know in the comments below. Margaret Hamilton worked as a computer scientist at the MIT Instrument Laboratory, which was contracted to work for NASA's Apollo program. Her work included developing the onboard flight software for NASA's Apollo program. She also coined the term software engineer. While the focus of the images are the portraits themselves, I wanted to play around with adding additional elements to each of the portraits. As these women are notable for their work in the STEM field, I figured it would be really useful to add their accomplishments as well. Therefore, I chose to add things like bits of code, design, or even some of their research into the portraits. These elements were overlaid the portraits in white, but with a low transparency, so there's a hint of what they do rather than it taking over the portraits entirely. Thank you so much for watching. More process videos are up on my YouTube channel, and for more of my work, check out my social media accounts.